Hey y'all, today we're going to take a look at just a few reasons of why anybody would want to be more self-sufficient. The roosters are helping me out, and the chickens, they're all over the place. Why you should be more self-sufficient? Well, being as self-sufficient as possible is one of the best ways to prep for disasters, weather, and hard and turbulent times. And guys, you don't need a bunker or to spend thousands of dollars in expensive preserved food. All those would be great. For most of us, those just aren't realistic. I think of the storms of last year in Texas, reading about people trying to find and buy generators while the emergency was still happening, when the need was desperate. The time for becoming more self-sufficient, for preparing for hard times or emergencies, is right now. Right now, when the store shelves are full. Waiting to stock up on ammo until the shelves begin to empty is too late. Even if you do have a good supply, realizing that your stock will always be finite, learning primitive hunting, fishing, and trapping methods now can make that ammo last longer and get you through after the ammo runs out. Wendy and I live in upstate New York, and it gets cold here and we get a lot of snow. Not being prepared in case we can't get to the store for several days would just be crazy. As an extension of that, not growing our own fruits and vegetables, or at least stocking up with enough to last several months, would, in my opinion, just be really foolish. Remember the great TP shortage of 2020? Yeah, thank God we were prepared. Where we live, there weren't leaves or moss suitable for the job in March, April, or May. We would have been in trouble. The peace of mind and confidence that come from knowing we already had what we needed ensured that while others panicked trying to buy everything they could, we simply bought comfort items and relied on our pantry for the necessities. Being more self-sufficient saves money. When you have a stocked pantry, you aren't a slave to rising prices or price gouging as much. With the homesteader DIY attitude, you can fumble through even complicated jobs. Remember my videos on changing the oil on the Predator generator and fixing the pull cord, as well as the one on the truck mirror? That actually saved me quite a bit compared to paying someone else to do it. And in case you didn't know, I had never done those before videoing the process. I learned by teaching you. You learned with me. Knowing the ancient skills of growing, foraging, cooking, making homemade necessities like soap now can put you in the position to thrive in times of emergency or hardship, guys. Having skills to trade, comfort items to barter with, can enrich your survival experience as well as those you trade or barter with. I think of all the people who have been stuck waiting on the government, bureaucrats to figure out how to help and what red tape and hoops they were going to make people jump through to get that help on site. I don't want to be at their mercy. I want to be that guy who is able to help my neighbors and my friends when times of hardship come. And all this starts with the initial effort to be more self-sufficient than you are right now. It's not a contest. It's not a goal. It's a process. What can I do to be more self-sufficient or prepared tomorrow than I am today? What happens when my power goes out? What will I do when I use all my stored generator fuel? How will I refrigerate what needs to be refrigerated when my propane runs out? What can I learn to make so that I can trade or barter with others for things that I may run out of? Thriving in tomorrow's hard times starts with what you do today. Did you know that over half of Americans only have a 3-day food supply? I've seen snowstorms last longer than that. More than that, are so disconnected from the old ways that they couldn't get food if the grocery store closed. And that grocery store that we depend on so much is only 12 hours away from being empty at any given time if the trucks stop running, which came close to happening. Guys, that's the best reason to strive to be more self-sufficient than yesterday, every day. I think of this whole process of learning how to be more self-sufficient. Man, it's a wild thing. You get into studying the primitive ways. When my Predator generator pull cord broke, I still had my 5,000 watt Briggs & Stratton generator that I run my power tools with. Thank God I believed in 2 is 1 and 1 is none. The solar panels will give us electricity, and I am going to continue to build our solar system as much and as long as possible so that we have more and more electricity. Eventually, I would like to get to the point where I can support a small freezer with the solar system. When my refrigerator goes out, what am I going to do? There is a reason I went with the 18 to 20 inch culvert pipe for a well casing. I can make a basket simple enough. Down by the water, the temperature is usually right around 40 degrees. That's what you need to refrigerate. You can put your perishables down there. Will it be a pain in the butt to get your milk for coffee? No, not really. You go out once a day and you pour yourself a little pitcher of milk, a little bit of thinking ahead. Now, hopefully, I will never have to use that. Hopefully, we never come to the point in our society where we can't get propane or fuel for the generators is too hard. If something happened to my solar lighting system in the house, I have learned how to make fuel out of fish guts for my oil lamps. It works. I've tried it. Guys, these are just a few reasons to be more self-sufficient. You can be a hero in the eyes of your neighbors. I've often thought of making little go bags with, a couple days worth of food in them, even if it's hardtack or beef jerky or something, or venison jerky, whatever, so that if someone comes to me in need but doesn't want to stay on the homestead and contribute, I can give them that bag to go with. The Bible says quite clearly, if someone comes to you hungry and you say, hey, go and be filled, may God bless you, but you don't give them anything to eat, you're useless, basically. That's the Tracy Hand version. That's why I prepare. That's why I live the homesteading lifestyle now. I am greatly blessed to have 20 acres to do it on right now. I was greatly blessed to have 2/3 of an acre to do it on when we lived in Port Leyden. And I was greatly blessed that my landlord let us have a small garden in Penn Yan when we had the apartment. And for a wife that was willing to go through this and to share the vision with me. You might not have a spouse who understands, whether you want to call it prepping or homesteading. You might not have a spouse who understands why you want to be prepared for anything that may happen. That's okay. Do what you can without offending them. Sooner or later, storms like the one in Texas is going to happen. The power is going to go out, and you're going to go out and start your little cheap generator that your spouse wasn't on board with buying, so you bought cheap. And they're going to say, oh, we have power. That's awesome. They'll get a little bit on board. Guys, have food stored. Know where you live. I know at the place where I live on Tug Hill, flooding is not a horrible worry. But even so, my garden the other day, when it was raining so hard, my garden was flooding. Thank God the wood chips soaked all that up very shortly after it stopped raining. I haven't lost any plants. But I know that we are not in an area prone to tornadoes. If you are, prepare that way. Have a root cellar. It's really hard for me to put a root cellar here because my water table is so high. but I plan on having one day. Wendy and I were talking. We just had a tornado, they believe, they're still investigating it, touch down in the town of Western, just down the hill from us, when we had that huge storm the other day. And I got to tell you, Wendy and I were thinking, what would we do if a tornado was coming towards our little homestead? We are going to work out a prep where we have some place safe and stable to go if a tornado is on its way. Even if it means going and laying down in the ditch out by the road. It's better than nothing. Let's say gas prices get up back to the Obama era of $4 to $5 a gallon of gasoline. I know I'm going to be okay, and that is such a peace of mind. I know that I'm going to be able to provide for not only Wendy and I, but some of my family. That's a peace of mind. Most of all, my peace of mind comes from trusting in the Lord, and that's a peace that passes all understanding, so I'm not even going to try to explain it. Be more self-sufficient today than you were yesterday. Be more self-sufficient tomorrow than you are today. Little things. Buy that extra bag of rice. Buy that extra can of beans. If every time you go shopping you buy $10, $5 even, worth of extra storable food, or bring home food and preserve it, that will add up over time. You don't need to go out to the bulk store and buy $6,000 worth of stuff, but every time you go shopping, go ahead and pick up an extra packet of toilet paper. And that way it doesn't cut anybody else short when we go into a period of shortage, because I'm buying gradually. I am leaving a shelf full of toilet paper every month. I'm not taking the last pack off so that that elderly person can't get it. If you got any value whatsoever out of this video, go ahead. It's free to like and subscribe. All the information is down in the description. This T-Ham141 saying, may hard times never fall on you. May God protect you if they do. Have a great day. God bless.